welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. Make sure you go ahead and hit that little subscribe button. Also make sure you go ahead and turn on your little post notification so that you guys can get notified when I upload a new video. As you can tell by the title, this is going to be a story time of my experience at a church. I have been to plenty churches, and not gonna say all of them, but most of them, they have been shady, and it's just like weird things that like happen, things that they don't try to, things that they try to hide and stuff like that. And there's like there's like a saying in Spanish, que no se puede tapar el sol con un dedo. So basically you really can't cover the sun with one finger. So it's just like things like that. And a huge disclaimer before anybody comes to me with it is my video, it is my story time, it is my experience, things that I've seen, things that I went through, things that were said to me and everything. I'm not picking people individually and talking shit about them individually. No. For those disclaimer reasons, I am not going to be mentioning anybody's name because number one, I don't have to. Number two, I don't want to. And number three, I'm not going to be stating the name of the church. So, yeah. So I feel like this is going to be a pretty long story time. So go ahead, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, your dinner, whatever it is you guys want to do, whatever time of the day you are watching this, get comfortable, kick your feet up, because I feel like this is going to be a pretty long story time. So basically how we found out about this church was we were not relatively new, but we had been living in this new house for like 3 years, and this was before I ended up getting pregnant with my son. So I was about, I want to say maybe 17. I had just turned 17. It was around the time that my anxiety and like my depression and all that stuff had started. So yeah, so the way that we found out about this church was my mom and my dad were driving around, and they ended up turning in that street of that church, and they saw the church. They asked somebody who was standing outside the days for services and things like that. So then my mom comes home and she's like, hey, look, we found a church. It's literally 2-3 blocks away. If you want to start going. And that time, since I was going through like the whole anxiety issue and all that stuff, I said, okay, why not? I'll go. I went. I was like, okay, let me go find some comfort, just go. Come that Sunday, we started going. I remember as soon as I walked in, I was bawling in tears, and this was because I started thinking about my grandma and everything, and ever since she had passed away, I never stepped foot in a church after that. I walked in and I was bawling in tears and everything. The servers, whatever they're called, they were standing right by the door. And they were welcoming us, showing us where there was empty seats so we can go sit, saying hi. Yeah, they came, they gave us like a little paper. I'm sure those of you who've been new to a church, like they give you like a little paper. You write down like your name and your phone number and stuff like that. We were listening to music, then we heard the word. And mind you that the pastor that's like the main one there wasn't there that day. It was another one. So he was the one there and everything. They came up, they at the end, like when they were like getting ready to close out, they told us to come up front so that they could pray for us and everything and welcome us to the church and all that stuff. So we went, they prayed for us, everything, all of that. And then when the service was done, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm literally getting distracted by a freaking squirrel that's standing outside of my damn window on a tree. So anyways, when the service was done, they had asked us to go to like this little back room to like, get to know us and how we found out about the church. And we spoke to the pastor that was there that day, and he was pretty cool. We met his wife. She was really cool. And went on about our day. We went home, all that stuff. Come next Sunday, we went again. And then there, I actually met from the youth group. from the youth group, I met one of the girls, and I'm not gonna say that everybody that I met from that particular group was shady, because a lot of them were like really cool, but you never know. I'm not gonna say that even the ones that were like cool to me, I'm not gonna say that all of them, but there was some that they would be cool to you, but behind your back it was like a completely different story. So yeah, I have no shame in telling the story, because honestly I never did anything wrong to anybody there, and whatever. It's old, but it's a story time. So yeah, come that Sunday, the following Sunday, I met one of the girls from the group, and she was introducing herself. She introduced me to her son and everything at the time. Mind you, I did not have Juan Andres yet. I was not pregnant yet. She introduced herself. She was like, "Hi, I'm so and so," and I'm like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" and everything. And she was like, "Oh, well, we're all actually going to the fair today. If you're down to come, you can ride with me and some of the other girls." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So then she just like brought me to everybody else to say hi and stuff. But the way that everybody said hi, and again, I'm not saying everybody, I'm just using everybody, but a few of them, like the way they would say hi was kind of like a hey, without actually making the face, So I was kind of like, okay, whatever. So I was like, "Hi," whatever. They introduced themselves. They told me their names. I, told them mine, welcome, and this and that and all that stuff. They were like, "Yeah, once the girl told them that I was coming with them to the fair, I did notice a few looks from some of them. And then I was like, okay. But, I'm more of the like observant type. I don't really say much until like it's time. But anyways, so I saw that a few of them were like, "Okay, cool, that's awesome, we get to know you more," and stuff like that and everything. So I called on my mom and my dad. I went home real quick, got some money to go to the fair and everything for my entrance and stuff. And I rode with her. She was cool people's everything. She was like one of the coolest ones. I rode with her, and I think it was just me. Now that I think about it, I think it was just me and her. I'm not sure if like other people went. But yeah, we had gone to the fair. It was the youth fair in Miami. I was basically with her the whole time. Like, it was literally the whole group was together. Nobody got separated, nothing. And nobody else except like her and like maybe two other people like just came to me to say hi. "Are you good? Are you enjoying yourself? How do you like the place so far? The church stuff?" Nothing. Like, I would smile at them, and of course, I'm like new to this whole group. These people have known each other since they were like little and everything. I don't know nobody, so I'm like quiet. I'm not acting stuck up. I'm not acting any type of way with nobody. Like, I would kind of smile, and then some of them would just look at me and then like just turn around. Like, I'm like, okay. Like if this was like a pack of like wolves, like I would have been eaten by then. So then, we got on some of the rides, whatever. We walked around, stuff like that. And then nighttime came, the girl came, dropped me off, everything. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit to a month later, which is when another girl actually came up to me and told me, she was like, "Oh, why don't we see you at the youth group and stuff like that?" And I'm like, well, I wasn't aware that there was a youth group. I come in, I try to say hi, and just some people just look at me like, okay. So, whatever. So then she was like, "Yeah, well, I'm sorry. It's just that our group, we're like really, really, really shy. We all grew up together and stuff like that. So when somebody different comes in, we're really shy." And I was like, no, just no. So I was like, "Okay, that's fine, whatever." She was like, "Okay, well, our youth group is in afternoons, like around 6-ish or something like that." And I used to walk sometimes because it was literally like 3 blocks away. It was no big deal. So yeah, I used to go and everything. And guys, literally, I used to sit like all the way in the back by myself. People would just like walk by, look at me, and like just keep going. And I was like, okay, hi. You're looking at people, you're smiling at them and everything. You're saying hi, like with your hand, stuff like that. You're new here, and like, the polite thing would be like, "Hi, welcome, I'm such and such," and things like that. "Come sit over here with us." Basically in a church, you're basically supposed to be like, you get what I'm saying? You're supposed to be like nice and not looking at people like, who are you? Like, basically looking at you like you're less than them, And that was one thing that always like freaking just like killed me. And I kept going, and it was like, whether I talk to them or not, I honestly don't give a because I'm not here for them. Little by little, everybody, started saying hi. I saw that like a lot of them were like couples and stuff like that. There was one couple in general that they were engaged. They were engaged, and then the other, they were just like boyfriend and girlfriend, like maybe 2 or 3 years relationship wise and everything. So yeah, they eventually came around like a month later, like month and a few weeks later after I was told the group was around. So I started coming around. Yeah, it was fine and everything, but it was like they used to tell you, oh, we usually have gatherings and we always invite everybody who's new. We'll go pick you up. It's all good. We usually meet up at such and such's house, or we go to like Dave and Buster's, or we go to Denny's and this and that. And little by little, I started getting friends requests from them on Facebook, on Instagram, all that type of stuff. And I put more on Facebook because I didn't really like go onto Instagram that much back then. But let's focus more with Facebook. I started getting friend requests from them on Facebook and stuff like that. Okay, can I finish recording?
Okay. That's fine.
I'm trying to record. Story time.
Huh?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay. Okay. Bye. Friend requests from them and stuff like that, and they will tell you like the day before, like, oh, we're gonna meet up at such and such's house, or we're gonna go do this and everything if you want to come and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, I was always down to basically tag along and stuff like that, like participate in everything. Come the day I would message them. I didn't drive and stuff like that at the time. I didn't have a car and all that stuff, and I needed a ride. You get me? And they would tell me, oh, you need a ride, it's all good, all this and everything. It's just okay, cool, no problem. So come the day of the event or whatever, I would text them like, hey, is the event still going on, or what time are you guys gonna go? Whoever I would text. And then I would get like, no, we're not gonna do this anymore, or this or that, or here or there. And then I would be like, okay, fine. Chilling on my bed, I start scrolling through Facebook and everything. Hours later, they're at the fucking place. They're like at the freaking place. Just have the decency to tell somebody, like, we don't want you to come, or something like that. You get me? Or don't invite people at all. So I still went to the youth group because I was still cool with certain people, because not everybody would go at the same time and everything to like the same events and stuff like that. It was like a whole youth group, but it was like half and half. Like half and half would do their own thing, and half and half would do their own thing. Unfortunately, I was met and greeted eventually by the group that I feel like was the shadiest. So the other group that they're like okay and stuff, I started getting to know them little by little, as they would sometimes they wouldn't show up for like Sundays straight because they would have to work or things like that. And I started meeting everybody little by little. There was much more people and everything, and then I started coming around more and stuff like that. I just wouldn't like talk to everybody. I would just show up, I would sit by myself, and then I would just go home. I would just be like, hi, and then bam, like, if talking about me was still like after I was gone, whatever. I never had anything bad to say about anybody and stuff like that. But yeah, fast forward it to a point where I found out that I needed to get something done on my heart. And this is actually like another story time that I want to do. I'm just still trying to find out the name of the procedure that was freaking done to me, because I don't want to give like wrong information. But anyways, they would always say, oh, if you need prayer and stuff, come up to the front. I know there's a few people who have surgery coming up and this and that and everything. They called 2 other people, and this was the priest's wife. The priest's wife. And she knew what was going on. She called up 2 people, and these were 2 people that were already going there for years already. But she didn't call me, the 3rd person. And they prayed for everybody, and I was like, okay, whatever. You know, like, I don't need anybody to pray for me or nothing like that, because I know that I can ask God for something and he always delivers. He always comes through and I always get what he wants from me. So yeah. So then I was kind of like, okay, like, that's kind of shady because I just freaking told you, you know. But anyway, they had like little snacks or and stuff like that afterward. She comes up to me and she was like, oh, how did your surgery go? And I was like, I didn't have my surgery yet. My surgery is this weekend, you know, in these days coming up. And she was like, oh, that's right. Well, I hope it goes okay, you know, whatever. And I was like, okay. Okay. And then we're still talking about something else. And then somebody else just comes up to her and, like, just literally interrupts, no excuse me or nothing. And they start talking and she literally just walks away with that person. And I was like, okay, what the fuck? Like, at least say excuse me. Like, if you need to talk to somebody else, that's fine. It's just, if I really need to talk to somebody else, I'm saying, excuse me, I'm so sorry to interrupt, I need to talk to this person or something like that. Or if you guys are really talking, I'll just say, excuse me, okay, I'll wait, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I don't know, I just found it, like, really fucking rude. It irks me. I don't know, call me complicated, say I'm like freaking nagging in the comments, I don't give a shit. I want to go ahead and fast forward a bit, like maybe a few months. I started noticing like a lot of things. I would notice that the priest's wife, she would try to do things and try to cover them up, and basically all of the youth there were her kids and stuff, her babies and everything or whatever. But it's like, if they did something wrong, she would try to scold them, and she would try to scold their parents, and then basically not giving a shit what her kids were doing. And I was kind of like, wow, like, I was mainly thinking, like, yo, let her come and tell me something. Like, I'm sorry, somebody's getting cursed the fuck out, because just my mother's the only one that needs to be scolding me. No, nobody else. I don't care who you are. And, you know, I don't care who they are, because I'm not that type of person that puts up like priests and their wives or their families up on a fucking pedestal, because everybody does that. And I'm not about to go ahead and do that. They're just regular people. I don't care. So there was an incident where a girl had gotten pregnant and she was a singer, and they scolded her, like, to the point where she started crying. And I was just like, wow, like, wow. And I remember she couldn't sing, her boyfriend couldn't play whatever instrument he was on at the time. I highly believe that nobody was a virgin there, and they were still doing their thing, because they used to talk about, oh, the drinking is a sin, they're doing this and that, you're not supposed to be going out to clubs, and blah 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 blah. And that's what the fuck they were doing. They were drinking, going out to clubs, doing all this crazy shit. You're claiming you're not supposed to be doing. I started meeting more people, but it's like, the more people that I met, like, I saw like more people's true colors and shit, the way they would act and stuff like that. Little by little, I basically stopped talking to them, like, just little by little. But it was like, you would see looks, you got me, like, you would receive looks, you would feel them like burning a fucking hole through your soul and shit. And like, to me, it was just like, like shady as fuck, you know. And it's like, I never did anything to anybody. I never spoke I never spoke bad about anybody there. Number one, because I didn't know them, I didn't have to, you get me. Like, I just saw this shady shit happen, and that was basically it. Some of them would still come and say hi to me and everything, and I would just be like, hey, but I would just keep away from them as much as possible. Let's fast forward, I want to say maybe like June of that year. So I want to go ahead and fast forward to like June, I want to say, because I remember meeting my sister-in-law around that time. We came in one Sunday, and my sister-in-law was literally all the way in the front. We were all the way in the back by like the doors and stuff like that. And she literally like made eye contact with us, and she came walking to us, and she presented herself. She was like, hi, I'm Vanessa, how are you? And I was like, hi, you know, whatever. Like, her hi was so like genuine, and and she just came, and there was like some seats there. She's like, oh, you guys can sit here and everything, whatever, you know. We sat. She went back to her post. And then at the end of the service, she came up to us again, and she was there talking to me and everything. Like, we were getting along, we were laughing and all that stuff. So then we basically ended up switching phone numbers. She hit me up on a Tuesday, I believe, and then she told me, she was like, look, there's this group thing that we go to every Tuesdays. She was like, you're free to come with us. You know, if you want, I'll pick you up I'll pick you up, and then, you know, I'll drop you off. It's all good. And I was like, okay, you know, that's great, whatever. And she started picking me up. We started talking. We would notice that we had like so much in common. You know, that's when I met my nephew and all that stuff. We used to go to like that person's house. That person's house was literally like right around the corner from mine. And we used to go and everything. It was like this couple, you know, they would basically talk about the word and stuff like that. They'll pray and all that stuff. We started getting along. Yeah, we started getting along. And then I want to say like maybe 2 or 3 Tuesdays later, the girl who used to be my best friend, she came, I guess, like she hadn't gone in a while or something. And then my sister-in-law introduced me to her, and, you know, she was like, hi, I'm such and such. And I'm like, hi, I'm such and such, whatever. The 3 of us, basically, we started hanging out. We started going to, like, Starbucks. We started going to, like, the mall together. We started going, you know, exercising together and all that stuff. Like, the 3 of us literally became like a little group of like our own and stuff. And then like every time we would go to church, we would sit together, we would leave together, we would show up together, we would go back to my house, or we would go back to who was my best friend at the time. We would go back to her house. As the 3 of us were like together all the time, my sister-in-law started like little by little not talking to everybody else. And that was because, like, I guess from seeing that she would hang out with me and stuff, people would little by little stop talking to her. My sister-in-law was the teacher for like the little girls, basically, you know, explaining the word to them and basically telling them, you know, you have to wait until you're married and all that stuff. And just, you know, they would just do like little activities. So the priest's wife wouldn't mind that me and my best friend at the time would go to the classroom, because, you know, it was like a little extra help and stuff like that. We would go and we would help her. You know, we used to print stuff like in their office and stuff, and we would bring it for the girls to do and all that stuff. So that was like what we would do. I think that was on Fridays, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was on Fridays that we used to do that. And yeah, me and, you know, this girl, we would show up, be with my sister-in-law, and we would just chill there. We would mess around with the girls. We would talk. We'll pop in a movie for them. We used to take snacks for them. Basically, we used to go above and beyond for these little girls. We used to go above and beyond things that other people weren't doing for them. Then came around like this type of it was like this trip that people would take for like the weekend. And my mom went, my dad went to his, my mom went to hers. It's called un retiro, and basically you would go for like the weekend. You'll leave Friday, you'll come back Sunday afternoon. And it's like it's like in this super secluded area. I don't know where the hell it is. And supposedly when you come back, you're not supposed to talk about what happened. So my dad wouldn't tell me what happened. My mom wouldn't tell me what happened. So I don't know if they'll tell me now. But in my head, I'm here thinking like, yo, did they like fucking like do some shit to you guys? Because you guys couldn't talk about what the fuck you did. They weren't allowed to use cell phones. They weren't allowed to, basically they had to do everything in a routine. Like when everybody woke up, you had to wake up. When it was time to eat breakfast, you had to go eat breakfast. When it was time for lunch, you had to go eat lunch. When they would take you out for the activities, you had to go do the activities. And then I remember it was like the 3rd time coming. My dad went first, then my mom went to hers, and then it was like they did the trip again. They had enough money, and they did the trip again. Then there was this other priest and his wife. His wife, you know, she would always be on my ass. Like, do you have the money? Do you have the money to go? Do you have the money to go? You have to go, because if not, you're being disobedient to God, and that this and that and here and there and blah, 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 all in my ass, bugging me about, you have to go. If not, that's a sin and this and that. I'm like, I don't have money to go. I don't want to go. Like, it was like so much stuff that they would try to hide and stuff like that, and things that they would try to force you to do. And if you didn't want to do it, they would try to fucking scold you guys. Like, you're not my mother. Scold your own freaking child, your own daughter, your own son, whoever the hell your kid is. You know, and I dead ass looked at her and I was like, look, I don't have to go. You can't force me to go. You want to kick me out of the church? Go ahead. See if I give a damn. I don't have money to go. I don't want to go. And it was like $200 or $300 per person. Where was that money going? What were they doing with that money? Because after a while, you know, they had money, you know, money was there that people would give on Sundays. And if you wouldn't give money, girl, they would look at you like you broke.
Take your broke ass.
They would look at you like if you were the brokest person on earth. And that shit pissed me off like hella bad. Money was used like on trips to go like on airplane and shit like that for like weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops. They were paying other people's rents with those people having a job on top of that. But it was like they would literally stand up there and tell you, you need to give your offering. You have to give your offering. You have to give your offering. And it was like, I'm not giving you my damn money so that y'all can go and take a damn trip somewhere, because y'all all of a sudden got a flashy ass car, and I'm not giving my money to nobody because, you know, to get a flashy ass car and to pay somebody else's rent when that person has a damn job and they're fine. So, you know, it was like other people's rent were being paid. They were paying off other people. It was just so much shady thing. Me and my best friend at the time, we were always together, like literally all the time. Like we were freaking glue. And we started noticing a lot of shit, like a lot of sketchy shit, shady shit. And we were just like, wow, like that is freaking crazy. Like the shit that they would do, like they would try to force you to do things and so much stuff. It was just like, wow. Comes a time where I end up getting pregnant. Oh, the whole church finds out because my boyfriend, my man, my husband did not feel like going. He didn't have to go. He didn't have to show his face in that church. He don't know nobody. So they automatically assumed that there was no father in this child's life. People would freaking like side-eye me. I ended up pregnant and I couldn't go help out anymore, simply due to the fact that I was a bad influence on the girls. And that was exactly how I was told by that wife of that priest. She goes to me, she was like, the girls can't see you with a growing belly because you are a bad influence. You are not married. And I was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. And I told her dead ass, I was like, you know what? I don't care. So as you guys can tell, it's like literally getting darker. So I'm going to try and hurry up this story time as quick as I can. But anyways, yeah, I used to get looks. And then, you know, fast forward 9 months later, my son was born. And then everybody like wanted to be all over him. You know, like they automatically like out of a movie and shit when they saw that, you know, my man showed up and everything, because we did do the presentation where you present your baby to God or whatever. We did do that and all that stuff, and everybody was like in shock to see that his father was there.
I am shooketh.
So then, you know, everybody was like kissing ass and everything, like, oh my God, you have such a beautiful little family and this and that and here and there. A bitter experience. I know I could have left, but you know, I felt like, you know, I still went, I didn't go because of them, but I went because I was trying to get right with God and things like that. And this was then. Now I know that I don't need to step foot into a church to get right with God. And I highly believe that. And like the cherry to it all, my brother and my sister-in-law ended up meeting. Love at first sight, I guess. I don't know. They ended up dating for a while. They ended up getting married. You know, that was not in their power to say how it should have happened or how it happened. You know, if two people want to get married, let them. But in this church, you know, you need to be counseled first. You basically have to get permission from these people to see if you can get married or not. If they feel like you're not a fit, you can't get married. So I was like, okay, whatever. And then my sister-in-law and my brother, you know, we didn't invite nobody from the church because it was like people started talking shit. They never seen my brother before. My brother started going because he wanted to. You get me? He wanted to. And he started going even more, yeah, when he started dating my sister-in-law. I remember one day, me and this girl who used to be my best friend at the time, we literally left. My brother gave us his card, you know, for the whole proposal and everything. We bought a few stuff. I don't want to tell you too much the story because I don't know if my sister-in-law wants to make a video one day of how my brother proposed or whatever. But yeah. So we did the cute little setup for them and everything. And, you know, he asked her to marry him, you know, like, time passed, whatever. They ended up getting married and all that stuff. And everybody started talking about, like, why did you get married so fast? And why did you have to marry him? And this was all from that woman's mouth. All from this woman's mouth. It was a message that, I shit you not, she fucking screenshotted it to me and she sent it to me. She sent it to my mother. She sent it to my brother. She sent it to everybody. And people were still, like, basically falling at this woman's, like, mercy and shit. Like, people would throw themselves at these priests like if they were freaking gods or whatever. And I guess that's why I wasn't liked, because I didn't kiss nobody's ass there. But yeah, I didn't care about none of that. A guy could have cared less. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see me a little better. I made it a little brighter, but this is a tiny little ring light, you guys. Deadass, this is my ring light. This is how tiny it is. So I'm working with it. So then, this message, you guys, this lady, deadass, came to my sister-in-law and told my sister-in-law, you left like a thief in the night. You disrespected and humiliated us. Simply because she didn't tell them she was getting married. And when she didn't tell them that she was getting married, guys, they like basically cut the cord off with her. And she wasn't allowed to teach anymore, telling her that she backstabbed them. And to top it off with a cherry on top, the reason why I don't these people anymore is because they had the to tell my sister-in-law, you married a sick man. That's when I said, everybody up in there. Thank God that for 6 years straight, which is my son's age, my brother has been a healthy. God healed them. And there is no freaking doubt in that. But for them to tell me that, for me to see that message, for this lady to say that my brother, that my sister-in-law married a sick man, that was the cherry on top for me. Like, all the shady shit that I saw, them forcing you to do things or having to go somewhere, you know, it was just like, wow. I don't talk to anybody from there anymore. Everybody is completely blocked. If I see them in the street, they say hi. It's I don't know you. But yeah, you guys, that was the freaking cherry on top for me. That was basically it. My sister-in-law cut everybody off from there. This girl who used to be my best friend at the time, she cut everybody off from there. We literally cut everybody off because that was it. Like, what kind of woman of God are you? And you're coming and you're saying that type of things about another person, somebody that you don't even know. Okay, so I don't know if I seem a whole lot brighter. I don't know, whatever. I don't care. I'm determined to finish this story time, and my beautiful phone decided to shut off on me. So yeah. So yeah, you guys. So basically, you guys, that was my experience, my horrible experience. Thankfully, I never have to deal with these people ever again. I'm sure there's so much other things that happened that I did not mention in here, but you know what? Some things are better left unsaid. But anyways, you guys, I got myself a little worked up with that story. You know, it is something that, you know, it is hurtful because they do end up talking about a family member of yours. that they have no business whatsoever saying things about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Excuse my bootlegged ass outro. But yeah, I was determined to finish this for you guys. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for staying until the end. And remember, guys, to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.